talk about women and the policies in which they've already enacted and have talked about enacting, or Kamala Harris and Tim
Walz? Boy, what a bombshell of recent news that just came out. My freaking goodness. You know, there are plenty of reasons out there to vote for Trump and against Kamala Harris, but oh my freaking goodness, I was not expecting something like this. There is a brand new scandal that's come out between Kamala Harris and her husband, Doug Emhoff. And this scandal is so big that if she were any other candidate, they would have immediately dropped out of the race. I am not joking, it is that bad, CSO family. But I for one don't want to spoil it for you all, so we're going to take a look at a couple other things related to this issue. But before we begin this brand new bombshell report, please make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up button and notification bell, and share this with your friends to continue to help us in exposing the Democrat Party and all those who want to destroy America. Now before we go over the details, as much as I hate to torture you all with Killary Clinton on screen, let's take a look at what she had to say very recently before this bombshell report came out.
And I anticipate that, something will happen in October, as it always does. The Russians, as I said earlier, are very active in this election. We know the Iranians are active as well. Chinese uses TikTok, or they certainly did against Biden and for Trump. I think they're a little less pro-Trump right now. So you look at where people get their information, and they get their information largely from social media. And so the campaign is doing the best job it can to combat that, combat both domestic and foreign false disinformation. But I anticipate there will be a full court press in October. The digital airwaves will be filled. And why does that matter? Because the press that is pro-Trump anyway, oftentimes stories are put on digitally that then are picked up by, let's say, at Fox and others. And then those stories are stories, so the mainstream press reports on them, and so that story then takes on a life of its own. There will be concerted efforts to distort and pervert Kamala Harris, who she is, what she stands for, what she's done.
So Killary Clinton basically claims that whatever's going to come out on the news that's against Kamala Harris is going to be fake news, and just to show you how much she's projecting here, and also because why would you believe a wicked woman like this who's probably even more evil than Jezebel in the Bible, why don't we first take a look at a couple of interviews between Jen Psaki and Fake News and Doug Emhoff, as well as what he had to say at this podium one time.
How your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. And I'm not sure you planned on that, but you are an incredibly supportive spouse. Has that been an evolution for you? And do you think that's part of the role you might play as First Gentleman?
It's funny, I've started to think a lot about this. I've always been like this. My dad was like this. And to me, it's the right thing to do. Support women. It's mutual, like with Kamala and I, we support each other, we have each other's back. And I've said many times, when we lift up women, we support women, whether it's pay equity, child care, family leave, and all these issues that, this post-Dobbs hellscape, women should not be less than. Women should not have less rights and be treated differently. That's not the American way. And it's also not like, if some woman succeeds, some dude out there is suffering, it's not a one-to-one relationship. When we lift up women, we lift up families, we lift up the economy. And when I was in the business world, it lifted up the organizations that I was in. It certainly lifted up the White House when you were there, with you there and Kamala as vice president.
So this election on so many levels is binary. Two guys who actually not only don't trust women, but are literally running on a platform of authoritarianism and misogyny. That literally should be their slogan, because that's what it is. So you want, people who literally are outwardly misogynistic in their policies and the way they talk about women and the policies in which they've already enacted and have talked about enacting, or Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. It's completely binary.
Wow, such an upstanding gentleman indeed. He claims that there's a problem with toxic masculinity, and that men don't have to show strength through brute force. They can show strength through their love and kindness for other people. Wow, this guy is such a great example of the kind of man that we want other men to be. Oh wait! Now we get to the best part of this video, where this bombshell report comes in according to Economic Times. Kamala Harris feeling the heat? Her husband, Doug Emhoff, forcefully slapped ex-girlfriend for flirting with another man at Cannes Film Festival. Talk about projection, am I right? Following charges that Doug Emhoff struck her ex-girlfriend, Vice President Kamala Harris's earlier condemnations of domestic abuse and let's say, perpetrators have come back to haunt her. Doug Emhoff, 59, allegedly slapped the woman in the face so hard that she whirled around while waiting in a valet queue late at night after a Cannes Film Festival event in May of 2012. The name will not be disclosed as she is a successful New York attorney, but will be referred to as a pseudonym, Jane, as quoted by the Daily Mail. Jane first said in 2014 that she had dated Emhoff, and she repeated the complete tale of his alleged abuse in 2018, when then-Senator Kamala Harris was in the spotlight for grilling Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh in a Senate hearing over SA claims. The pals, who all wanted not to be named for fear of punishment by Emhoff, provided with images of him and Jane together from 2012 as well as other papers and communications verifying the story as reported by the Daily Mail. The bombshell charges come after it was revealed that Emhoff cheated on his first wife and mother of his 2 children around 2008, allegedly by impregnating his daughter's babysitter, who also worked as her grade school teacher. Emhoff admitted to an affair with nanny and teacher Najan Naylor. Am I pronouncing that right? Najan Naylor? Anyway, according to friends. Emhoff admitted to impregnating Naylor, accusing her of causing a miscarriage. However, he even paid Naylor $80,000 and had her sign a non-disclosure agreement. Oh boy, this is bad for Kamala Harris and all those related to her. Like I implied in the beginning of this video, if this was literally any other candidate going through this kind of scandal, they would not even run for president at that point, let alone become it. I mean, this should be considered career-ending for Kamala Harris. How anyone is able to take her seriously still to this day is way beyond me. I guess some people in America just don't have common sense, but anyway. You know what the funny thing about this is? Fake news and a lot of people on the left have been trying to claim that Trump is this woman abuser, and here we got a presidential candidate whose husband is an actual woman abuser and adulterer. Doug Emhoff is not only an absolute scumbag in my eyes, but he also broke 2 of the 10 commandments. You shall not commit adultery, and you shall not covet thy neighbor. And knowing that this is Kamala Harris's husband, and therefore she more than likely plays a significant role in this incident, I really hope this bombshell report convinces a lot of her voters, if not all of them, to vote against her and for Donald Trump. This should really go to show everyone that Kamala Harris is an absolute liar and cannot be trusted in the Oval Office, especially with the nuclear football. At least those are my thoughts on this, and we are curious to know what the rest of you think in the comments down below. Do you think that this bombshell report should be considered career-ending for Kamala Harris, as it would be for anybody else that doesn't have a D next to their name? Whether you agree or disagree, if you like this content, make sure you subscribe, share this with your friends, click on that thumbs up button and notification bell, and always remember, CSO family, to keep observing from a common sense perspective.